Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1M1M, as you know, is the first global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue, build $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. Slightly ambitious idea, but we have been executing on it very diligently for many, many years now and plan to continue to do so. This is our 313th free mentoring roundtable. These have been going on for 8 years. Actually, it predates the 1M1M program. This is the experiment that led us to 1M1M eventually in 2010. The event is being recorded. You will have a recording available on our blog as well as on our YouTube channel. If you are live tweeting the show today, please use #1M1M. And our Twitter handles are @1M by1M and @Romana. We constantly publish inspiring, educational, informative material. So it's a great channel to follow if you want to stay on top of technology industry happenings as well as entrepreneurship topics. The YouTube channel is chock full of educational and inspirational material as well. It has every single recording of our prior roundtable sessions. So if some of you are perhaps not in a position to be able to afford yourself the 1M1M premium program, just follow the roundtable. Just listen to the YouTube channel, just listen to the recordings, and you will learn a lot. Soak in that material, you will learn a lot, I promise. These are the call-in instructions. We are not quite ready for call-in right now, but I will put this slide up again later on, and we're going to take questions. We do want you to participate. This is a roundtable. It's not a broadcast. It's a roundtable. So we want you to be as engaged and as participative as possible. So line up your questions. You can start asking questions in public chat, and we will pick them up as we approach the Q&A portion of the session. We're going to start today with a conversation with Henry Schuck, and he is the co-founder CEO of DiscoverOrg. So Henry has done a very interesting company that I wanted to expose you to, and is still doing it. Henry, welcome. It's great to have you.
Thanks, Romana. It's good to be here and exciting to talk to you again after so many years.
It's been many years, yes.
Yeah.
So to start with, tell us about DiscoverOrg. What do you do? Let's introduce our audience to your company.
Sure. So the crux of what we do is we help companies grow their top-line revenue, and we do that by providing them with really deep sales intelligence on their prospects and their customers. So what that means is org charts on each account they're going after, a real-time stream of projects and initiatives and leadership changes happening at the company, direct contact information in the way of direct dial phone numbers and email addresses and Twitter handles and LinkedIn profiles of the people they're trying to sell to, all packaged in a SaaS software that's integrated into CRM and marketing automation, and it puts the right information in front of the salesperson at the right time so that they can engage their buyers in quality sales conversations. And we're doing that across departments, across the world, across about 60,000 different companies. And so we're enabling salespeople to be more effective and more efficient at their jobs by giving them the information they need to do so.
And folks, those of you who are listening, this is important because when you're navigating any account, essentially from a sales point of view, there are many players in the account that you have to kind of understand the hierarchy of the organization. You have to understand who has influence over the buying decision, who reports to whom, what is the power structure, who is the economic buyer, who is the technical decision maker, who can help you, maybe coach you through the organization structure, etc. All these complex solution selling techniques. And by the way, those of you who are doing 1M1M Premium, we teach this in the we teach complex selling in the program as well. This is very important to understand the org chart of the organization. So what Henry is doing is making that process of understanding the organization structure significantly easier, and it's a vital piece of the sales process, especially the complex selling process.
Absolutely.
So Henry, you've bootstrapped this company, and you did a phenomenal job of building to a significant scale with no external financing. Tell us how you did it.
So great question. So we really did it because there didn't seem to be any other choice when we started the company. So we founded it in 2007, and we put a couple, maybe close to $100,000 on our credit cards to start the business. I was in law school. It was my first year in law school when we started it up. We had the benefit, my co-founder and I had the benefit of working at a similar company when we were younger, and watched that company grow and watched what it did well and had our own ideas on what could make it better. And so when we got started, we put the money on our credit cards, and we just sort of grew it organically. And every time we made a sale, we took half of the proceeds of the sale up front went to marketing and sales. A quarter of it went to hiring research employees, and a quarter of it was our salary. So for the first 3 years, I think we were making something like $2,000 a month for 3 years, and just sort of putting all the money back into the company on this idea that we could build this really big thing. Luckily for us, this is a product that commands a premium price, and so we were able to sell to larger organizations fairly quickly and get some steam going. But we did it organically really until about a $25 million ARR run rate. And when we hit 25 million, we took some outside funding from a firm in Boston and Palo Alto called TA Associates. We took growth equity funding, and that sort of helped us sophisticate the company, put together a board, grow it more aggressively, and so that's been a good experience for us as well. I will say the anecdotal sort of funny story here is that the company that my co-founder and I worked at in college, which was sort of the precursor to DiscoverOrg and where we really learned everything, we ended up acquiring in July of 2015. So it's kind of a nice full circle story.
So, you know this, and I think the audience, at least some of the audience who've been with us for a while knows this, that our philosophy in 1 million by 1 million is bootstrap first, raise money later. And you're a showcase study of that principle. $25 million ARR is very significant amount of revenues before you raise any financing. Now, tell us a little bit about the structure of that financing. Did you take liquidity for yourself and the other co-founders, or did you put all of the money into growth capital? What was the motivation behind raising this money?
Yeah, it was a mix of both, or three things. So we took some liquidity, we put growth capital back in the business to recruit employees and grow the team. We also created an option pool for some of the earlier employees to incentivize them for the next sort of cycle of the company. So it was a combination of really all three. And I think we sort of got to a point where we were first-time entrepreneurs, and growing it to 25 million in ARR already felt like this incredible feat. And we knew that going from 25 to 50 to 100 to 200 meant that we were going to be playing really far outside of our sort of knowledge base, and having people who had been there and seen that and known how to navigate those waters would be incredibly helpful for us. And that was really the driving motivation behind it.
So what does that translate into, that motivation? What does that translate into? Are you putting together an executive team of much more experienced people, and what has been the process of getting these people on board?
Yeah, so we almost immediately brought in a new CFO, and so for the entrepreneurs who are on here, I think my first gut reaction to paying a lot of money for a CFO was, I don't see the value in it. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think we need to go out and get this very expensive executive for the team. And our investors and our board were like, look, you're wrong about this one. you have to just trust us to do this, and then, like, let's discuss it in 6 months after you've gotten a great CFO. And we got a great CFO. His name is John Gardner. He's done a fantastic job of building a real cadence for the business. When you're bootstrapped, especially as a CEO, it starts feeling like you sort of lose track of how the cadence of the business works. And so I think bringing in the CFO and bringing in a couple of people in finance helps us understand sort of the rhythm of the business. If you do these things, they lead to these things. If you do these things, they lead to these things. And if there's a blip in one of these things, that means you're going to feel it downstream, and let us identify those blips up front so it's not a painful realization downstream for the business. And so they've done a really good job of like creating the dashboards and the metrics that help me understand the business as it gets larger. And so every month I do a dashboard review with the finance department where they're tracking metrics across each department, and every month I'm surprised to learn something. So it's, oh, look, this team over here, it has been doing an incredible job and I didn't realize, and let's double down our efforts over there. Or this team over here is slipping, and let's figure out why and what we need to do to fix that. And so I think the finance component of the business today has allowed me to have like a lot of transparency into the business that I didn't have before, where in the past it was like going off gut and feel, and you're able to do that when you're much smaller, and as you get bigger you lose a lot of that connection, and that's where they become really valuable. We brought in a great senior vice president of customer success. Obviously, as you're building a recurring revenue business, the recurring piece of it is maybe the most important piece of the business. And so we brought in a great customer success VP. We were able to recruit and come in, and we really professionalized and increased the velocity of that team. Those were two really big hires for us. We brought in a chief marketing officer just recently to help us with messaging and buyer persona. And so we've really professionalized the team. But I think the key part of this is we never did it to do it. We did it because it always felt like that was the clear next hire, the clear next person that we needed. And it wasn't like we just read a book that said, you need CFO, CMO, this, and that's how you grow a business, so just put those people into place. We started feeling the pain in the different areas. We said, okay, it's time to make a hire there. It's time to bring in somebody who's done this before here and here and here. And we didn't really do it, I think, sort of the non-bootstrap way, and the beauty of being bootstrapped is the non-bootstrap way is to get people in, way early before you really need that. And I think that sort of messes with the culture of the company. But when you bring in the people, your bootstrap DNA tells you bring in people when you need them. And that's when we were bringing them in.
Now, what is the result of your decision to do this company in Vancouver, Washington? It is an unorthodox decision. I'm a huge fan of entrepreneurs who do things off-center because, one, it has tremendous benefits in terms of, holistic economic development, and especially the ones who succeed like yourself end up having tremendous impact on economic development of a region. But from an execution point of view, from your journey point of view, the last almost 10 years of building this company in a geography that is not exactly a startup hub, what has been your experience?
Yes, so look, I think there are a couple answers to this. One is obviously we're here because there's a huge economic advantage to being in Vancouver, Washington versus San Francisco or even Austin or Boston. The cost of living is lower. It's a beautiful area. So we've done it. We've been okay with recruiting people from other places into Vancouver, Washington. So by the way, Vancouver is on the border of Oregon and Washington, so it's really just a part of the metropolitan area of Portland. And so we've recruited people from Houston, from Austin, from Philadelphia, from Seattle, really from all across the country to come to Portland, to come to Vancouver. And a lot of times for the type of talent we're looking for, we do have to go outside of the Portland metro area. Recruiting recruiting is one of the tougher things that we do, and so especially in like the engineering team, it becomes difficult to recruit the right talent. Although we struggle with that for a while, and we've sort of gotten ahead of it now. But Portland itself has been a pretty decent technology hub with companies like Puppet Labs and Urban Airship and Jan Rain Elemental Technologies, all of these companies that have done a really good job of sort of building a core of technology companies in Portland. Salesforce has offices here. Marketo has offices here. Acton has their headquarters here. And so we've been lucky. That's been a recent thing. But yeah, we're able to build you couldn't build, I think it's very difficult to build a bootstrap business somewhere other than a Vancouver-like community, where like I think this would be very difficult to bootstrap out of San Francisco. And not just because of the economic piece of it, but also because of the like social chatter around it. For us, there wasn't a big social impetus to raise money, and so we viewed you build a business the way a business is supposed to be built. You build it profitably, and the only way to do that is in a bootstrapped way. And there are very few businesses, I believe, that justify a business proposition where you're losing loads and loads of money. Some, sure, but the majority, I don't think justify that, and we've been lucky enough to have that driving force behind our growth.
And these executive hires that you're making now to power your next phase of the growth, are they from the Portland area, or are you moving them from elsewhere?
We've moved the majority of our executive hires. We've moved from elsewhere.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now, where do you want to go with this? This private equity funding is for you to build this company to $100 million, $200 million, or are you looking for an exit in maybe a couple of years? What's in your head right now in terms of what you want out of this?
No, I mean, I think that's the first part is right. I think we're focused every day on growing this business 40 to 60% every single day. And so I come in every day thinking about how we grow the business 40%, 50%, 60% each year. And then that leads us to a $100 million run rate company sort of in the middle half of 2018. And so we're driving towards that. And then the other piece of Vancouver, which I should touch on, is, and you pointed out too, we believe that part of sort of the thing that drives us is we want to prove that we can build a $100 million company in Vancouver, Washington, which a $100 million software company in Vancouver, Washington, which just hasn't been done before. And so we feel like if we can do that, we can prove that you can do it here, and really that means you can do it anywhere. So we're growing to 100. I have a clear line of sight on growing to 200 million and beyond. And so the focus every day is to build a really big business-to-business sales intelligence platform that spans all departments, that can sell to every company out there, that has broad data sets that cover hundreds of thousands of companies and millions of employees and buyers at those companies, and has intelligence around all of them. And so a big piece of what we're doing is building scale into our research processes to be able to do that.
Henry, can you talk a little bit about your product strategy? And I'll start you out with what I remember you told me when we talked 4 years ago, I think it was. At that time, you were just focusing on the IT organization. So your org charts were around IT organizations, and you were selling to technology vendors who are trying to sell into large IT organizations. That's where you started. And folks, those of you who are listening, it's really important to find a niche, a sweet spot, especially as a bootstrap company, where you can position with a high caliber value proposition that solves a real problem and you can monetize quickly. But now in your quest to grow 200 million, you're expanding out of that. So talk to us about how you're thinking about where you're going, where is the business, how do you expand the product roadmap?
Yeah, so I think one of the great things about IT for us and why that niche was so important is that the market of IT vendors, whether they be hardware, software, consulting, staffing, the application development, is very segmented. And so there are a lot of vendors who sell products and services into the IT departments of companies, and so we have this very big, and we still do, have this very big market opportunity within IT. You know, that being said, we realize, look, we want to expand outside of just IT, you know, not only because we want to increase the total addressable market, but we want to bring a product that's exciting into different verticals. And so then the next question for us then becomes, which of the other departments have the most segmented markets underneath them? And so when you look at the landscape of a corporate, just any corporation, you have IT, you have marketing, you have sales, you have finance, you have HR, you have procurement, you have supply chain. And so we look at all of those departments and we go, which of these departments have the most vendors trying to sell into them? Because that sort of establishes our ability to have a real segmented market to sell to. And so we've built out marketing. That's a huge growth area today, especially with all the marketing technology and the digital marketing consultancies. We've built out finance. There's a big opportunity in fintech and benefits. We're building out human resources. And so human resources is another big play where there are tons of benefits providers, wellness providers, healthcare providers, compliance providers, where we feel there's a huge market opportunity. We built out engineering with the Internet of Things, and just the engineering departments or companies are becoming as buyer centric as IT in many organizations. So that's the way we think about expanding the data sets of the product, is look across the corporate structure and figure out which department has the most segmented group of sellers into them, and then build that.
So two last questions. One is, how do you price? I know it's a SaaS model, but how do you price it?
So we price it in two ways. One is based on the data set that they're gaining access to. So are they gaining access to the IT data set, the marketing data set, the finance data set, and then second by users. So do they have, there's a user fee and then a data set fee. And that's pretty much how we price.
And what about channel and partnerships? Are you selling completely direct, or are you using channels and partnerships as well?
Channels and partnership have not been a big area of focus for us, and therefore not a big area of contribution to revenue. We're still almost completely direct.
Okay. Excellent. So folks, what I want you to take away from this is Henry is a first-time entrepreneur. He bootstrapped to $25 million ARR, then took money and has a clear line of sight to get to 100 million and possibly 200 million. So, if Henry can do it, you can as well. That's the inspiration that I want you to take away from it. Henry, do you want to chime in?
No, I guess I would say that that what you're selling, I'm a good example of the truth in it, and I think that had we not grown in a bootstrapped way, this would feel like a much different company. I'm not sure we would grow the same. We certainly wouldn't have the same margins that we have today, and it was the best decision to grow in a bootstrapped way and to grow the business in an organic way. But when the time was right, it made sense to bring in a partner, but it's when the time is right.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Henry. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks, Ramana. Thank you very much.
Okay, folks, we're going to switch to the entrepreneur pitch segment. And what I want you to kind of set expectations around is that this is a working session. We are here to help you. We're on your side. We have no other agenda than to help you become successful. So please don't be defensive. This is a safe place. Nobody has any desire to embarrass you or, unduly criticize you. It is, you will receive feedback, and some of it could be critique, but it's constructive critique. It's not, there's no other agenda. And if you disagree with my feedback today, that's okay too. It's your business after all. You make your decisions, you make your choices. I will give you feedback based on my experience and my, swimming in this world of entrepreneurship, and then you will do whatever you want. It really is your set of decisions that will drive your path forward. And do participate with questions. As I said, this is a roundtable. We want you to participate as much as possible. We're going to start with Robin Aletras. Heirloomix is the company. Robin, please unmute your line and tell us what's going on.
Hi, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. And should I just start explaining what the company, or how do we proceed?
Dialing from Tennessee, yes?
Yes, Tennessee, yes.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
Okay, so Heirloomix is an idea that I've had for about 5 or 6 years, and then this year I decided to make it a reality. Unfortunately, I made some bad decisions with developers, and I spent really all my money on a developer that ended up not being a legitimate developer, and so I'm kind of back to square one. But you want me to start telling you about the company, or how do we go? Okay. So Heirloomix is a social cloud hosting service. It allows newlyweds and people just starting out in their life, parents of newborns and young children, to upload memories and milestones. They can share these with friends and family, and then the ultimate goal of the service is to pass the account along to their children when they get older, and this becomes an heirloom product that passes on from generation to generation. It does give parents a meaningful way to connect with their children even long after they're gone. So if a child loses a parent early, or even after they've grown up and they want to look back, at their lives and the lives of their parents, this gives people a unique way to do that. Next slide. What separates our Heirloomix from any other cloud hosting service that's out there today is not only the way that it helps them organize the information and tells the story of a life, but also they pay as they need to upload memories and moments, and they never have to worry about losing their account. If they don't upload moments for years, or they don't pay a bill, then there's no need to worry about losing the account, and that's what really sets us apart. Is that, especially, young parents and young couples that don't have, number one, the responsibility aspect of making a monthly payment every month, and number two, maybe not have the funds to do that. So next slide. Our competitors, Dropbox, which has 50 million users, I believe, Google Drive, and other cloud hosting services, they offer similar products to what, what Heirloomix offers. However, our product is structured in such a way that it organizes the content so that you can kind of go through different milestones like first grade, second grade, graduation, birthday parties, and different things like that, and you can hop around and you can do various things as far as your tell the story of life. But more importantly, parents can send little notes to their children about how they felt at this particular moment, or record videos about how different things like that. And so it's a unique product and different from Dropbox, different from Google Drive and other hosting services.
I like it. It's interesting. Okay.
Okay. The projections that we go for are average, and these are super low numbers because I anticipate people uploading a lot more data than just 2 terabytes over 20 years, but this gives you an idea of the potential for not only a lot larger amounts of revenue, but also that if you have customers that only upload, small amounts of memories over time, the figures are very doable, okay? If you just had 100 customers over a 20-year period of time, you would earn $100,000 a year with costs of roughly $336,000 a year. So the profit potential is there. going up to 500 customers, which is, very doable even our first couple of months.
Oh, wait a minute. You have 100 customers and you make $100,000 a year and your cost is $336,000. How is that profitable? That's like way not profitable.
That's over a 20-year period, okay? Meaning that you're making $100,000 a year, but over the entire 20 years, it only cost us $336,000.
Oh, I see. So your cost is $336,000 divided by 20 per year.
Right.
So that's why
the entire. My computer went to sleep. Hold on. Yeah, the entire $2 million only cost us $336,000.
I see. Okay. So now this pricing model that you're positing, is that the right pricing model for your customer base?
Well, here's what I figured out. Based on the costs for what they call glacier storage, which is long-term storage, it only cost us 0.007 cents per gigabyte.
No, that's not my question. My question is not about your cost versus how much margin. That is not my question. My question is, does the audience want to consume this offering in this mode, or do they want to do a monthly subscription fee of some sort? What is the way the customer base wants to think about this?
Well, there's two ways to handle this. Number one, you could have a pay-as-you-go model and a monthly subscription. You could do both. But the importance of the pay-as-you-go model is that you never have to worry about losing the account. We charge in such a way that if you let's say you uploaded, the first 3-4 years of your child's life, and then you decided to move away from, taking pictures and doing all that, which, sadly, that's what happened with my first child. We took tons of pictures. And then, the second child, we did a little bit of pictures. And by the third child, we took pictures every now and then, but we didn't really do a whole lot of, memories and stuff like that. Just something that we kind of sadly went away from. And so if they never revisited the account ever again, they would never have to worry about losing the account, though. If you do a monthly model, if they stop paying for it, then those memories go away.
Yeah, I think in this generation of the smartphone users and so forth, very aggressive smartphone usage, that is likely not to happen, one. And two, the people who are going to be signing up for your product are going to be of a certain psychographic. They're going to be the memory preserving kind. They're not necessarily going to be, they're not going to sign up for your service unless they are the memory preserving kind. So I think you're going to, the business is going to self-segment.
Right.
My suggestion to you is, I think you should validate this assumption whether people want to pay in this megabit, per megabyte kind of mode, or people want to pay on a monthly subscription basis, because it's just,
right.
My sense is that it may be, from a consumer point of view, it may be easier to think about this from a monthly subscription point of view. Anyway, besides the point, so what are your questions?
All right. Now, well, the next thing that I was going to bring up also, as far as a business model, also is this doesn't include any ad revenue or revenue from product sales. So another way to approach this also is to do it like Facebook does it, and like Snapchat is now introducing memories, which is kind of scary for me. But one way to do it is to make it completely free to upload memories, and then just completely run the company through ad revenue and product sales.
So my suggestion would be to not go there. You should do this as a very differentiated, very different kind of experience than Facebook and Snapchat. This is not something that goes out broadly into the world. It is something that is for parents to share it with a small group of people and to hand it down to their children. So this should not be a broad social network.
I think you misunderstood what I said by Facebook. I mean, Facebook allows users to upload tons of content. They don't charge them to keep that content on their servers. So what I mean by like Facebook and Snapchat is that we don't charge them to upload the content. We pay for it through ad revenue, right? No, I agree 100%.
Ad revenues don't make good businesses unless you have this incredibly large numbers of users. And to get to incredibly large numbers of users is very, very big investment. So then you have to ask the question, how are you going to move forward with this? You already spent all your money in a failed development attempt. So now what? How do you move forward with this?
Yeah, the way I did it the first time was I actually paid a developer $100 a week till we got to $3,500. Which was the cost of the development, and then, like I said, learned that there was no. He kept putting me off and telling me the different things about design and all that stuff. And then when I finally started looking into it, I found a bunch of complaints on the internet, and learned that it wasn't a legitimate company. But I guess I'm going to go back to that same setup, is that pay as I can afford to pay for it, and also maybe look for a future partner to. Maybe help fund that,
$100 a week is not going to get you a lot of development resources, it's not like this is a hugely complicated site to build, but it is it's a development work, so you're going to have to scope it out. You're going to have to hire a developer, and even with an offshore developer, there is some budget involved. So, but my question was not so much that. I think, somehow or the other you're going to figure out how to pull together a development project and fund it and so forth by yourself. But the kind of questions you're asking about business model are just not affordable, okay? So advertising, if you want to give everything for free, that means that you need some sugar daddy to finance you through that process. Who's going to do that?
Well, that's where I'm at right now. Is I have no idea. I've reached out to Microsoft through LinkedIn. I was able to make contact with Mukund Mohan, who's the director of strategy at Microsoft, and also the director of Microsoft Ventures.
So what's going to finance you? First and foremost, Microsoft does not finance. Microsoft's head of strategy is not going to be of any use because that person has no interest in financing a company like this. Microsoft Ventures funds businesses that have traction.
Right.
And this is not even in Microsoft's area of interest. So the thing that you're going to have to get, you really need to understand how businesses get built, how startup businesses get built. You can't shoot from the hip like that and expect to get anywhere.
Well, I kind of disagree a little bit with the statement that it's not the direction Microsoft's going in. A lot of what I've been reading about why they acquired LinkedIn was to establish some social reach and to increase their social.
No, you should go ahead and read what my writings about why Microsoft acquired LinkedIn, and it has nothing to do with social reach. It wanted a position in the professional data set, which they're going to fold, I believe that they're going to fold into CRM. LinkedIn was being considered not only by Microsoft but also by Salesforce.com with the exact same agenda, is that it's a way of really powering the cloud services strategy of one or the other company. Essentially, anybody who has a CRM product, if you pair, you just listened to Henry earlier about data sets, leads data and so forth, and LinkedIn has a tremendous amount of data. And if that data can be brought into CRM products, that's really the strategy of how, they can really differentiate. So Microsoft was looking for that, and that's really at the heart of that strategy, that decision.
Right.
So, you can do whatever you want with the feedback that I'm going to give you. This project right now is not financeable by any stretch of imagination. So you're going to have to figure out how to bootstrap it. So either you do that or you're not going to get very far. So my suggestion to you is going to really focus on figuring out how you're going to put one foot before the other, how you're going to get going with this, how you're going to monetize as soon as possible in terms of revenues. That's the only way you're going to be able to build this business. There is no other way. And you don't have to agree with me. If you disagree with me, that's fine. That you do what you like. But this is my assessment of your business currently?
Well, no, I do agree 100%. I'm not 100% knowledgeable on obviously growing a business. I've tried. I can't tell you how many different startups that were that needed development that I was unable to do because number one, I couldn't gain traction, and number two, I couldn't find funding to develop the dev behind it. So this project is different in the sense that it's close to my heart as far as sharing memories and moments, and that's what I would like to have done with my children. And if I had something like this at the time, I would have really enjoyed it and been grateful for it. And so I'm approaching this from a different standpoint. Is that I'm going to give everything I have to this, and make this a reality no matter what. And so I think that's necessary going forward. Is that I've given up too early, too many times.
I suggest, Robin, you learn some methodology. I see this all the time in our work is entrepreneurs shooting from the hip. And that basically you're going to make all the mistakes that you don't need to make.
Right.
If you just learn some methodology, you're going to be much better equipped to make the right decisions instead of just bouncing around and wasting time.
Okay.
There is a methodology to building businesses.
What would you, aside from getting the product developed, what would you say my first step should be?
Your first step is going to have to be a minimum viable product and a business model that monetizes fast and a customer acquisition strategy that allows you to, get a number of customers that start monetizing this business, and you have to grow organically from there.
Now let me ask you another question real quick. I bought a pre-made script that was sort of like a clone of Dropbox, but it had some more social features, added in. But it didn't have the organization functionality that I really wanted for the product. Do you think that starting out with a lesser product and having some offering is better than waiting until you have the offering that you really want?
Well, where you're going in is an extremely crowded market. You have an angle with which you want to differentiate, and if you cannot showcase that angle, if you are, creating a commodity product that cannot even compete with Dropbox or Facebook for that matter, I don't think it's going to work.
Okay.
Because there's even players like Shutterfly, where people, store memories. Facebook, you can create a private group, secret group in Facebook and share stuff, share memories and share photos with family and etc. So there are many, many ways people can do this today. So this is it's a very crowded market that you're going into, and you really have to be precise about how you differentiate and how you go to market. And that's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
Okay, so if you hang on, I will explain to you a little bit later how to use the 1M1M program if you choose to do that. Otherwise, nonetheless, figure out some way to learn methodology.
Okay.
All right. So, folks, I will spend a little bit of time today introducing you to a course that LinkedIn has filmed with us for lynda.com. And it's a bootstrapping course, and we're going to show you a little bit of, a few clips from there, and you can look at the whole thing at your own time. So, Maureen, let's get started. Maureen, how do we adjust the screen to be able to see the video?
Something happened on my end where it picked me up.
Hold on, Robin, hold on. Maureen will guide you on what to do to see this. Maureen, please tell us what to do how to adjust the screen so that the video becomes center.
Oh, I thought you could see it. You can't see it now? I'm seeing it. You didn't hear it before?
No.
So it's the multimedia viewer. If you go to Manage Panels, it should change for everyone when I change it, as I'm the host now.
I still have the Black Lindet course on my screen.
Yeah, that's going to be on the left. This should be on the right. It's the multimedia.
What do we need to do to enlarge this to become the full right screen?
No, it doesn't work that way. It takes over the other screens. If that doesn't work for you. Okay.
It hasn't taken over the other screen. It's kind of like at the very bottom. For me, it's at the very bottom and the right corner of the screen.
Yeah, so you need to go to Manage Panels, which I did, and take
away
the chat.
Manage Panels? Where is Manage Panels?
It's the bottom right circle as a drop-down arrow. If you click on that, maybe you need to do it.
I can't even open Manage Panels. You are host, so we don't. Nobody other than you have access to Manage Panels.
Maybe this works for one of them, because I see it the way I see it. If everyone else isn't seeing it, then I apologize. I didn't. We can play it, and it would be part of the recording now, and people could listen. Or I'm not sure what you're seeing that I'm not. So since this is the first time,
I'm not able to. Are people able to see this video?
It's off to the right. You can scroll up and down and see most of it, but you can't read all the writing and see all the video because it's pushed all the way to the right.
Yeah, I don't see it, Maureen. There you go. So if you actually, I just managed to get it up on my screen. What I did was I minimized all the screens, the chat window, the participant video window, the Q&A window, and then the media viewer window is what's enlarged. So people, if you, can you do that, everybody, and let us know if you're able to, then we'll get started with the video. Sorry about the technical glitch. This is the first time we're doing this from somebody else's video.
Yeah,
bringing
okay.
To our event.
This is the thing. Okay, I'm going to start this first one so everyone can listen in. Thanks.
Okay, great. Have you started it? I don't hear it.
It was playing for me. If maybe you all have to click the play button of the video and manipulate this yourself.
No, we are not able to. If I click the play button, it tells me blocked plugin. So I don't think this is working, Maureen. So I think I don't want to waste people's time.
But I'm going to share the links in the chat. Let me restore and.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's just share the links in the chat. Folks, the reason I wanted to give you a taste of it is we've talked a lot about bootstrapping today, right? We've talked a lot about bootstrapping with Henry, how he did it. We've talked a lot about bootstrapping with Robin, how he needs to do it. And I really would like you to get a feel for why bootstrapping is so important, which is why we cover it extensively in our curriculum. And we also wanted to, LinkedIn approached us to do this course, and we agreed to do it just because I do want people to get a broader sense of why, you can't really go bounce around in the market expecting that somebody is going to fund you that's going to be a waiting for Godot-like situation. You're not going to get anywhere, and you're just, basically going to waste a lot of your time. So don't do it, and start bootstrapping instead. Get to customers, and then maybe you'll get funded, maybe not, but you'll still have a business if you follow the principles properly. So folks, a quick few minutes about 1 million by 1 million and how to use the program if you choose to use 1M1M as your accelerator. Everything is at 1mby1m.com. There's a tremendous amount of material on the site, and just there you will get answers to a lot of your questions in terms of how to move around in this journey. We have a blog that is very rich, and we constantly have entrepreneur stories and other kinds of technology industry stories in there. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is something that you can also use to learn, how to navigate your journey. Maureen, please change the slide in the next session because it's constantly creating problems for me every time now. Essentially, we have 12 volumes of Entrepreneur Journeys, and each of these volumes are 12 to 16 case studies, and you essentially get a chance to double-click on a topic, whether you're building an e-commerce business or a cloud business, or you're bootstrapping using a paycheck or bootstrapping with services. Each of these topics are dealt extensively in these books. Then we have, you have tons of videos on the website, so that will also answer a lot of your frequently asked questions. These roundtables happen every week. You can come to any of the Thursday roundtables and get actual feedback on your business, on your idea. Wherever you are, whatever stage you are, you're welcome. So this is complete democratization of the technology and technology-enabled services entrepreneurship world. We don't do other kinds of entrepreneurship just because we don't have the expertise. Like, we don't really know how to do pharmaceutical companies, for example. And we wouldn't be able to advise you right. We kind of advise you on something that we know how to do, which is IT and IT-enabled services. So go to the free public roundtables page on the site, and you can register to pitch or attend. We also have a premium program, which is the real core intensive acceleration program, and that's where you get extensive methodology guidance, and you get access to our curriculum, you get help with business development, strategy consulting, you get help with financing if you are fundable, and then you also get help with media relations as well as getting the word out there through our media channels. The $1 Million Club is a page on the site where you get exposure to some of the success stories of the program. The quantifying the 1M1M value equation is an ROI analysis of the 1M1M program itself. We recommend that you use the 1M1M self-assessment, which is a series of questions that you need to ask yourselves about your business, and you need to answer those questions in your quest to have a robust strategic plan. Also, for those of you who are trying to learn methodology in an efficient way, do 1M1M Basic, which is a curriculum-only subscription. It's a monthly $99 a month subscription. You can just go in there and start just studying, basically. If you just use 1 month of 1M1M Basic and just study the curriculum intensely, you will be much further along, and this bouncing around is going to stop, because you will learn what works, what doesn't work, what expectations you need to go in with, what you need to do, how to put one foot before the other. So I strongly recommend just spending 1 month of intense curriculum study, and it will make a huge difference in your journey if you actually do the studying. Other than that, there's tons and tons of information on the website. Just dig around. The case studies include over 700 successful entrepreneurs and their journeys, their advice, their lessons from the trenches, their guidance to you, and we've stitched all this up into a video lectures case study-based curriculum that is very easy to learn from and very, very inspiring. The same thing you heard today from Henry. He's a first-time entrepreneur and he can do it. You can do it as well. And there are case study after case study of entrepreneurs who have gone from scratch, from nothing and built very, very significant businesses. So it can be done. There is a method to this madness, and we want you to learn it. That's why we're doing 1M1M. Our methodology is lean, capital-efficient bootstrap startups, and to the extent that you want to raise money, it's bootstrap first, raise money later. That's pretty much the only way it works these days, unless you're a serial entrepreneur with track record, where you've made money for investors before, in which case you may be able to get financing out of the gate. But if you're a first-time entrepreneur, that doesn't happen. We do a lot of coverage of our premium members. We have a channel, basically, a tremendous amount of media reach out there, which you can get to, basically, just by using our, over 300,000 reach audience community. And if you are trying to get the word out about your product, your service, we can do that for you through our channel. That's pretty much it. There are 5 more roundtables this summer. So 2 in July, 3 in August. If you need a slot, please sign up, and Maureen will send you instructions on how to pitch. That's pretty much all I want to share with you in terms of the program. If you have questions, the line is open. Please feel free to dial in. Let us know in public chat that you're dialing in. You can also ask questions in the public chat sent to all participants. I'm sorry our experiment with giving you a flavor of the lynda.com course today didn't work out, but you can click on these links and go there directly and access the entire course, and it is free. So, questions, comments, issues, roadblocks, what are you facing? What do you need help with? How can we help? And by the way, folks, those of you who have questions about 1M1M, please feel free to reach out to Irina at 1mby1m.com. She will answer any of your questions. She'll help you decide between basic and premium if that's something that you're trying to figure out. And that's pretty much it.
I have a question about the 1M. I have a question about the 1M. The question is the difference between the $1,000 a year and the $99 a month. For the $99 a month, do you get access to the same content as the $1,000 a year, or is it just a different content?
You get access to the content. You get access to the curriculum. What you don't get access to is the mentoring. So in the premium program, you have roundtables like this on a regular basis that you can come to as many times as you like, and get ongoing feedback and guidance and shepherding through your process. So that's not available in the basic. And of course, none of the media or financing or any of that stuff is not available. So the basic is just the curriculum.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions, folks? Questions, comments? Anything that you want discussed further? No? If not, we're going to adjourn, and we'll see you back here next week. Hope to work with more of you and learn about what you're working on and what you're struggling with, and hopefully help you remove some of the roadblocks. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed the show, and apologies again for the slight logistical hitch. We'll be back soon. Bye-bye.
Okay.